Oh man, we very, very nearly blew our qualifying. This is the final race. The last one we need to hit 3K. Second to last one to hit A499. That's the goal. Try and get there before we leave the Radical because we've been being safe up to, but not including the qualifying lap we just put down. We did end up in P1. Right at the tail end. We should have pace on all of these guys, but we'll see how it goes. We just want a clean race. I'm out of water and it is already hot, hot, hot in here. So we will do our best to persevere. Let me juice these fans a little bit. Hopefully it won't get too loud on the microphone.
The air temp is 78 Fahrenheit, 16 laps. Okay, Brandon, stay calm, focus. Go.
Good launch.
Come on.
I know, right? Already drama behind us. We will just aim for the get out front, stay out front approach.
How many positions can I gain in the third
Work on start, mate, this is great.
How many people died back there?
What if you?
All the way down to second for the first couple laps.
Sector 1 time's okay.
Victor was keeping time with our early pace. Let's see if we can't get a little more distance between us as we get up to operating temp. 4/10 up from him on that last lap.
You pulled away from the guy behind. The gap's now 2.9 seconds. You're now in the lead. Sector 2 time is okay.
Go for the third gear. Wasn't perfect, but it was a little faster than second.
That's the fastest lap.
Ooh. No, Brendan, no. Eyes on the road. We might have our feet back up a touch high. Kind of losing control of the wheel in the bumpy sections. Oh, and we don't have that map for some reason. Go from 28 to 30. Still in the high 32s back there. I think we're probably okay.
That last lap was at 132.2.
That was sloppy. Just ahead of qualifying, we hit a personal best at this circuit in the Radical. Track temp is reasonably hot as well. That was a 31.3.
4.3 seconds.
Previous best was a 31.4 or 5. I know we're missing time in the final chicane, and I know we're missing time in the hairpin down here. Otherwise, we were pushing pretty hard. We're already 4 seconds up. We don't really need to be pushing that hard. Probably shouldn't be, but it is more fun that way. This will be a 31.6. Solid. Swung wide there. Felt fast. Turn down our tackle a little bit, turn up our fans a little bit because it is getting hot. There'll be another 31.6.
That's the fastest lap of the race. The lap time was 31.6.
Better first sector. We're on a hot one. Two tenths down coming out of there, that won't help. I was on track for a personal best. Now 7 seconds behind us. Missed our turn in.
You're pulling away. The gap behind us now, 7.3 seconds. We're quickest at the moment.
I think we can go a little deeper. Braking into the hairpin. Kind of the overwhelming problem I've been having all week is actually hitting the brake pressure I'm aiming for. I have my brakes set up to be probably close to 150 pounds at 100%, which you rarely hit in most cars.
Right, Brandon, you're halfway home.
This is one of the few cars
We're quickest right now.
on this course in particular, this circuit, that you regularly want to hit 100%. You actually want to hit 100% on most of these corners, which is way harder than I would generally brake in anything. It's a little foreign. Takes a little getting used to. You know, early in my sim racing career, I remember trying this and finding it to be super fun, but finishing races was not a real possibility. Even as recently as 6 months to a year ago, I was still having significant problems finishing races, especially fast corners where you put the power down and the tail is really easy to snap out.
Sector 2 time was good.
And I drive a lot of high downforce stuff, so it's not like it's that foreign, but Spa in particular I remember being bad. But coming back to it recently,
Thank you.
this is, I think, probably my 6th race here this week with 0 incidents, 6 races running.
That lap time was 1:32.1.
You know, depending on the time of day,
Okay, Brandon,
in the
that's good
evening on the West
consistency.
Coast
Keep
like
it
it
up.
is now, this is a 9 p.m. race, my time. There's only one split and there's not a lot of competition. Even throughout most of the day, there's never a whole lot. There's maybe one or two other fast guys in here. And then it gets a little tricky, but you know, if there's more than a tenth or two difference consistently in your pace and you're not making mistakes, you end up racing alone a lot of the time. Which has been good this last week, trying to undo some of the damage I did to my I rating. Trying to learn the Porsche Cup car. I think when I started that at the beginning of the season, I went from a hair over 3K to down to 2,400, I think. I was not equipped to race at that level in the Cup car. But with a little bit of practice, I started earning back some I rating in that car. Thankfully, I can afford to take my time here. I had a few good races in the Cup car, and then I got this new cube wheel that I'm on now, and I've just kind of been looking for excuses to use it. So a lot of Cup car, a lot of Radical, preparing for the Bathurst 12 with some of the Seattle guys. I do not really click with GT cars in general. My foot wants to brake like I'm in a high downforce car. A lot of initial pressure and then backing off. I find it really hard to trick my mind into braking properly in a GT car. It's like a long, stable, steady press of the brake pedal and then a lift into
Looks like P2's gone off in turn 7.
trail braking. Maybe if I keep doing it, it'll get better. It's gotten better in the Porsche Cup car, but that car is like nothing else really on the service.
The gap behind
It's
is
like
increased
Victor's
to
fine,
30
so we really
seconds.
don't have any pressure now. Or to take our time. I'm gonna stick with one more race in the Radical this week. A little out of there. One more race in the Radical this week so I can say that at one point that wasn't an endurance event. I hit A499, which I've never done in my 2 years and change on iRacing. It's just one more feather in my cap to say I've done it. It's meaningless, but it's bragging rights. I try and be as safe as I possibly can. You know, I think it was probably a year into racing consistently that I kind of went through that mental shift where you realize it's not about fighting for every position, it's about finishing the race and learning to give up a position if you need to a reckless driver and trust that they'll wreck out in front of you, or just, you know, just be patient in general. It took me a long time to learn that. But once I did, my I rating started jumping up at a pretty rapid pace.
Sector 3 time is fast.
We should be pushing more than this. Talking and racing at the same time, especially with the active seat belts and the seat and the shakers and feedback up really high is a challenge. Just keeping enough breath in my lungs to do it can be a challenge. Racing like this is a surprisingly sweaty endeavor. But, you know, my focus in building this has always been on realism. I think there are a lot of ways to be fast that don't involve running really high feedback and levels of force, but those aren't as much fun. And you know, the reason I've built this ungodly expensive simulator is so that I can pretend that I'm driving cars I will never be able to afford, or that my wife would want me out on the track in. She gets
There's an incident in Senna.
a little panicky, grabs the oh shit handles in her Subaru Crosstrek whenever I get the RPMs above about 3K. Not, you know, super conducive to riding around with me, but we make it work. I originally built all of this shortly after we got married, and I sold my motorcycle as an appeasement strategy now that I had someone important to live for and couldn't risk my life on a daily basis riding a motorcycle through Seattle, where every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and especially every Prius, is actively out to kill you every single day. It is good training for awareness in sim racing, especially fast stuff like this, where it's really twitchy and you have some really fun moment-to-moment decisions, especially starting mid-pack in F3 or Radical or something like that, where shit hits the fan really quick. I miss my bike. That was so much fun. When I moved into the city,
come on, Brandon, 2 to go. Stay focused. We can win
from
this.
a little ways outside Seattle, that seemed like the more feasible, more cost-effective way to get my go fast jollies going. And it was. I sold my Focus ST and bought a little naked Honda 500cc city machine.
Turn 9.
Never ridden a bike before, but was fun to learn, fun to romp around on. A little scary at times. Definitely had a few, you know, stick a lump of coal up my ass and turn it into a diamond moments. But then I became a city dweller and I didn't really need a car anymore. And my wife seemed hell-bent on me not killing myself. Thankfully, I never crashed the bike or put myself in any sort of particularly precarious position. But you know, now I have a simulator that costs as much as a new car for a lot of people, more than a lot of new cars. Really, it's gotten a little out of hand as I keep chasing the perfect layout. I think it's just about done. The only thing I
will win this. We're currently setting the pace.
really have left to do is maybe motion, but you know, if you watch the kind of rig tour video I made, well, probably close to a year ago now, we have a very small space. We're in a little cottage on Capitol Hill. One bedroom right next to the living room where this is the bedroom, and the other one is the office. My wife's a pharmacist, so she works from home for the poison center and we have to remain HIPAA compliant. So she took over my office because she needed a door that shut, and I got pushed out to the living room, which is fine. You know, it forced me to do some creative thinking to keep the rig quiet enough that I could race at most hours of the day. But I have a limited space and I have noise concerns, and that's always ruled out motion. But that's about all I have left. You know, we have a pretty good group of guys going now in the Seattle Discord. So hopefully when this whole COVID nonsense is over and we can leave the house again, I'll get a chance to
Well done, Brandon.
sit down
Great
and spend
win.
some
You
seat
deserve that
time on
today.
some of those guys' SFX 2000 setups and see what it's like when it's properly set up. But until then, I think we're just about done. Streaming setup stuff was kind of the last thing on my list. Ooh, let's take a look. At our laps. I don't know how to get this out of here. Yeah, it really fell off at the end. A lot of 32s, but we did have a fast lap in there.
All race.
31.5. And we should have picked up 56 I rating, according to my dash, and we had 0 incidents. So let's take a look. Boom. Let's see how we did. And the race is not up yet. We might need one more second. Let's go back here. See who hasn't finished yet. Kevin Conyu bringing it home. We actually had a pretty good off there. I've been struggling getting the dual clutch settings right to hit those starts properly, but that was a good fast start that time. So with that, if we're lucky, we should be able to see that mythical 3,000 back. Oh shit. I spun in qualifying, and that damaged the normal 0.12 that I would get there. So maybe it's more than one more race, but we're back over 3K. We got that hump finished. And I think that's good. I think we're feeling good. We'll maybe do one more of these, get it right to 499 tomorrow, and then maybe this late in the week, probably sneak in some Skippy races. I don't know if I have the time or desire to really get up to speed in the Cup car this late in the week, but we'll see.